Hi everyone. My name is Carissa, and I'll be your peer coach for whoever has section W55. I'm going to introduce myself, and right after this meeting, I'll also post my introduction video. I'll say more or less the same thing. So, I'm a student at Harper, second year. I'm a biochemistry major. And like I said, I'll be your peer coach. So I can help you with staying organized, or just maybe if you're a little intimidated by your teacher, you can talk to me. I will have a Discord posted um, along with Kenzie too. Um, so if you ever want to communicate with your other classmates, then that's where to do it in more like an informal way. And yeah, more or less, I will be helping you out.
Thank you very much, Kenzie. Sorry, Carissa. Glad to navigate between both of you. Kenzie, you're next.
Okay. Hi guys. Hope you can hear me. But yeah. My name's Kenzie. I'm also going to be a peer coach for you guys this semester if you have the other section. I also have some I don't know if you guys have seen anything yet or not, but I've been posting stuff. So make sure you go check out the other peer coach module in the Blackboard. I posted a Discord link and another video introducing myself, but this is my second year at Harper. It's also my last semester at Harper. I'm going to UIC in the spring. And I also want to stress the importance of joining the Discord and checking the Blackboard and stuff, because I'm here to help you guys. I'm another resource for you. I'm a student just like you. So I really hope you guys feel comfortable enough reaching out. If you have any questions at all, I don't care. Email me. I'll answer my email. I'm pretty good at checking it. But yeah, hi guys.
Thank you very much, Kenzie. Okay. Just got one student entered. Good, okay. I'm gonna share my screen right now, and then we can start. As I record and as I begin this orientation, feel free to send me a chart, even that's preferred at this time, because I'm not able to check my email while I lead this presentation. But I want to start off by asking a question, and you're welcome to answer it. At the same time, you're also welcome to think about it. What is social media, technology, academic, and rhetorical writing? Why is this important? Why is it important that, or why do you think I've seen it fit to have all this together for English 101? Anybody? Any idea? I've got like 4 separate units for this class. The first is social media, technology, academic, and rhetorical writing. Let me make it easier. Let's start with this social media. Why is that important today?
It's a way of communicating between one another, like on a more I won't say universal, more like a worldwide scale.
That's very good. Today we're more connected than ever. In the 80s, 70s, 60s, and so on, if you want to send a mail, you've got to wait like weeks, months, even days, sometimes even years. I mean, if you go back to the 1900s, people have to wait like a long time just to get a message or a letter. Now, within seconds or minutes, millimeters of seconds, you get a message from somebody. So yes, social media is important. And on that note, I have prepared on Blackboard. You would notice that we've got the syllabus schedule right here. You also have, this is where you'll find what I'm looking at, this page. So I've got this course calendar posted. I've got the syllabus posted. I've also got some information on the theme of the class, which is what I'm going to review next. I think it's important to go over the units where we're going to be covering. Not necessarily units, but you're also going to see particular topics that you can call reoccurring themes in the class. So one theme I'm going to cover, it's a single theme, but it's a unit. Part of the theme is social media, and some of the topics you're likely going to come across in this class. And so we're going to explore its impact on culture, identity, questions such as privacy, surveillance. These are worth writing about. And now we know, I mean, this is due to some whistleblowers, that Instagram has some issues with identity, especially body image issues that some accuse it of causing for female teenagers. But not just Instagram, there are other social media platforms out there. So these are some of the topics you're likely going to see in the class when even readings as well. So authenticity is a big issue when it comes to social media. Another aspect of this is that we've got so many platforms today. You've got YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and the peer coaches even mentioned Discord. Now, I don't know how many of you are into Discord, but if I'm for whatever platform you use that you can use to connect with each other, especially when we have a group project, because that's important. When we have group projects, I'm flexible. I've had students use social media to collaborate, particularly Snapchat. That was very interesting when I had it in class, because when I was a college student, the only way you collaborated was you exchange phone numbers, you exchange emails, and you meet on campus, not Snapchat or Facebook. We didn't do any of that stuff. And I'm not that old, so don't think that I'm some very old guy, of course I'm older than many of you, but I'm just telling you that during my time, it was like, nobody was using social media to connect, to do group projects. Everybody, exchanging phone number was just a popular thing. Most of us, I would say, when I was in college, it was easier to just exchange phone numbers. And of course we had social media, but it wasn't as it is today. But it was something that many of us just did, or phone numbers or email. That was how we solved things. But now today we have so many options. Okay, so that's social media. Technology. I find this topic very interesting because even as we're having this meeting right now, it won't be possible were it not for technology, web conferencing. I'm using Zoom, and many of you are able to connect because you have Zoom downloaded on your phone or your laptop. Now, in discussing technology, it's such a broad field, and this is not science. I'm not going to get you doing technical stuff, but this is just reflecting on the fact that technology impacts writing. Believe it or not, we use word processors in Google, Microsoft Word. There are many others, that you have WordPerfect, but I'm sure that many of you, particularly if you're Gen Z, you grew up using Google Drive or Google Classroom, and Google has its own issues as well. I'm not going to go on to attack Google, but if you do some research into this, Google has a dominance when it comes to technology platforms in the classroom. I tend to push back against some of this dominance because I want to expose you guys to more software suites. And so when you start talking about technology and product and word processors, that leads you to writing and technology. So you guys will be doing some presentations. So again, that's part of technology as well. You'll be using citation tools, or you've perhaps used citation tools. That's technology as well. Chatbots, they become so popular today. Man, I'm sure many of you have heard of ChatGPT. Maybe some of you have even used it for college essays and you got away with it. And I'm going to talk to you about plagiarism because that is related to technology as well. It's easier to plagiarize today than just to go to the library and find some textbook and just copy something verbatim. when talking about technology, we also have to navigate. Communication. Email. I'm sure many of you have a Gmail account. Now, when I was, this was in the early 2000s when I was almost leaving high school, or, you know, I know that Yahoo was very popular. Then all of a sudden, Gmail became a thing, and everybody has a Gmail. I would say many people, and some people argue that Gmail is better than Yahoo and what have you. Those kind of debates, to me, I think they're interesting debates, fascinating debates. But if you start to investigate, if you start to raise questions about security and privacy, you would have to rethink what you mean is the best email, because some platforms expose you to it makes you give up more privacy information than you would realize. And I can say this without a doubt that Google is one of those, and that's Gmail. You know, Google owns YouTube. With YouTube, you can search a lot of things on YouTube, but guess what? You may think that you are searching YouTube, but YouTube is searching you. As you find out from when we covered the topic of surveillance capitalism. So technology is definitely important. We can't do without it. I can't teach this class if not for technology. You are going to look at issues that particularly ethical concerns of plagiarism. We're also going to be looking at generative AI, artificial intelligence. Not asking you to take a scholarly position on everything, but it's more just having a discussion about it. If you are interested in that as a science student, you can explore all the mechanisms of machine learning, but that's not what we're doing in this class. It's just way evolved. We're just writing and talking, discussing, analyzing. All right. We have academic writing. So that's important in this class. I would say it's the biggest, if I could call it, single unit that is most important. Because with academic writing, it's everything that this class is all about in some way or the other. All the essays you're writing about is about academic writing. It's not K-12 writing. It's not elementary school writing. It's academic writing. And academic writing takes its own structure, its own shape, very different from informal writing. So these are some of the topics we'll cover. Professional writing. I call this precision in writing. When you're writing, you've got to make sure that your audience understand what you're saying. And sometimes it's hard work. What makes writing hard is that it's a recursive process. For instance, when I'm about to draft like an announcement, I have to think about who I'm going to send it to. And in addition to think about who I'm going to say, I have to ask myself, would they understand what I want them to understand or what I want them to know? So academic writing, you may think of it as just you're writing an essay, but it's more professional writing, because when you graduate, people are going to be looking at your writing skill set. You send that email and they're like, okay, this person's supposed to be in college, but why is he writing like this? Why is he writing with exclamations? You know, I've had students do that. Part of academic writing, I've said, is professional writing. So you guys are going to show me that you can write a professional email. I've gotten tons of emails, and whenever students send me, I look at the email. Sometimes I don't even say anything, but I could make lots of inferences about the students' writing and how their knowledge of convention. I get emails that are sometimes very rude. I have gotten hate email when one student insulted me in an email, and I'm like, okay, what do I do when a student send you? This is supposed to be a professional setting where students are. So we're going to be looking at persuasion and writing. And that leads us to the topic of rhetoric. So in addition to academic writing, some say it's formulaic. It's like you do this, you do that, you have an introduction, thesis, conclusion. Yeah, that's a lot in college, and there's summary and response. But in addition to having all this structure, we also need to learn about persuasion. How can you write persuasively? And I think in order to understand rhetoric, you've got to look at those who use rhetoric and they use it well. And I think it's good to examine speeches. So in this class, we are going to look at commencement speeches. I mean, that's more like towards the end of the course. So just keep that in mind, okay? We'll be looking at commencement speeches for our final project. Now, on that note, I want to switch over to in the syllabus, because that to me is very important. You can consider it you can think of this as almost like, think of it as the Bible of this class. Or that's too strong. Let me think of it. It should give you a sketch, a map of where you're going in this class. And I always like to go over the syllabus. Now, this syllabus is very detailed. Like I would say this, I don't consider myself the same as all professors. Some professors turn in syllabus. Some professors turn in syllabi that is just 2 pages or even 3 pages. I don't even know how they do it, because I think I have to put more information in my syllabus so the student know, particularly when it's an online class, when I'm not even going to be there all the time to speak to you, to interact with you, or to call you. So that's why I have prepared this document. So it's very detailed. I've even got a table of contents, so you can easily navigate this. Can I make this more engaging? Put GIF. I could do all that. I could do all that stuff, but I'm just focusing on what you need to know, because that to me is more important than putting any GIF on my. I had one instructor who did some of that stuff, which I think is cool, and I've got some GIF on my course shell. But anyways, I want to focus on how it'll be addressed. I say this because students sometimes don't know how to approach their professor or their instructor. So I've been called various names. When I say name, I'm not like abusive. It's just like when students address me, you would go, don't call me bro or hey. Send me an email and say bro, hey, I may not respond to it. Or if I respond to it, I will be, I may use sarcasm, I do that, but it's so I use it in a way that is instructive, not abusive. So you call me Professor Wosho, you can call me Mr. Wosho, and if you can't say my last name, I'm fine with Mr. E. Okay, I am not your bro, so don't use this. That's not the way you speak in college. And if you send me an email, don't say hey there, because hey there is not my name. I always tell students, if I'm not afraid to say your name, why are you afraid to say mine? It makes sense, right? Okay, so address me by my name. Don't call me, don't send anyone and say, hey. Because if you say, hey, like it's very casual and it's not proper communication. You watch the way I communicate as well. If I say hey to you, you'll be wondering, so does this professor even know me? Why is he calling me hey? You too would think twice about the way I address you. So use proper salutations. Not because I'm just the one that requires it, because when you step in a professional setting, your writing is going to be constantly evaluated. Yes. Just as when you come into people who evaluate you. Yeah, people evaluate your writing. Now, my office hours is on Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Make sure you take a look at this. Now, if you want to meet with me, you got to know that you reach out to me way in advance. Don't do this like 1 hour before 5:30 p.m. I mean, the reason I say this is because depending on what you want to communicate with me, I may need to plan. I may need to review my notes. I may need to review your essay. Maybe you have an issue with some work you're turning. So I need time to prepare. No, I don't like meetings that are just full of surprises where I don't even know what I'm going to do or discuss. I also want to talk about my preferred method of communication. You'll notice on the syllabus here, I said, I prefer to be reached via email. And then in parentheses, I said, there are some exceptions. See communications policy. Now, when I said I prefer to be reached via email, I'm not a one-size-fits-all professor. I recognize that there are various modes of communication in the 21st century. Now, I'll say this, and I've done some research into this. Many of you who are Gen Zs, you prefer to just you just send a text message or send that one email and you believe you've done, that's it. I'm going to tell you the real truth. And I think those of you, particularly when you step into the professional world, the real world, is that email it could be very dangerous. Email could destroy relationships. Email can send the wrong message. And one of the issues that I have with email, I would say the fundamental issue I have with email is the lack of emotion. When I send an email and say, could you resubmit that work? somebody else reading that email could perceive it differently. If the person is angry, they could take it that, oh, this professor doesn't like my work. So there's no way to know. But if you hear me saying, could you resubmit that work? You know the gesture and you know how it sounded. You can tell. Now, if somebody has an issue with you and they're sending and then they're describing it over the email, you can interpret it differently because of the lack of emotion in which that you're able to process by looking at reading the person's email. So email can be very helpful and useful. I prefer it, but then I said there are some exceptions. Let me go over the exceptions. And I say there are circumstances when I don't use email. And I stick to my gun on that. When I say stick to my gun, I don't, I've had students who tell me that, no, I only want to communicate via email. And I said, okay, yeah, that's good. If you want to do that, go. I will stick, okay, I'll let you do yours, but I want to make a decision. Now, saying this is not to say that you cannot discuss things via email. I've already told you some of the reasons why I'm not a one size fit all when it comes to communication, especially in an online class. You can get very, very lost. And if you try to solve this, if you're having difficulties in the class and you try to settle it via email, it not only is it going to be time consuming for me, it could be time consuming for me, for you as well. One thing is that if you're struggling in the class, I don't really know what you're struggling with. You've got to walk me through. And in order for you to do that, a back and forth communication might be required. And that could mean like 10 or even 20 emails. So why spend so much time over email when we can just have maybe a simple phone call, a virtual meeting to discuss the problem? So you see my point. So this is what I've said concerning communication is two-way, not one way. So I'm flexible with communicating with students to the extent that they're also flexible. If students don't want to communicate, I've had students who they don't want to speak to the instructor. They're like, just send me an email. I said, I need to talk to you about your work. They say, send me an email. I'm like, okay. I'm also sensitive too, because there are certain things that I don't discuss via email. For instance, I don't like to discuss students' grades, especially if the student is failing. I need to speak to that student to understand where they're coming from. Because students who can get very personal and say, Professor, why are you failing me and this and that? And it can become very even abusive. And do I get in that conversation via email and then they misunderstand what I mean? No, I wouldn't do that. So that is another reason why I also say, if you're concerned about your work, let's take this conversation from email to have a meeting. Now, I understand that students may be proactive in doing this, but there are other times that students are not proactive. And that's where I step up, I step in. When I say step in, I reach out to students. I do this. I could reach out to you. I say, can we do a phone call? But I'll tell you what it's about, so you give an idea, or a virtual meeting. And students get afraid because not all professors do this, but I do. And I've told you my reasons, and that's why I have this policy. Overall, I'll say I'm flexible in communication. Don't take it personal. If I reach out to students, I always leave them a message. I have your contact information, and I don't misuse information. That's the reason why I'm assigned your instructor as your instructor in this class, because I want to hear from students. I want to understand them. The few other rules here, and this is not just, I have all this in place because in an online classes, a lot can go wrong. A lot can go wrong. Misunderstanding, miscommunication, accusations. Some students think that instructors are ignoring their emails. I'm like, I need time. You're not the only students. So I said, give me at least 48 hours. Usually I'll answer beyond 48 hours. When I said 48 hours, it's because I'm thinking about the weekends. If you're sending me an email Sunday night, don't expect me to respond to you that night because I'm probably sleeping or grading. Okay. So be aware of my preferences, and also, I may say pet peeve, okay? And I also am interested in your feedback too. Maybe there's some issues. People have had different experiences when it comes to communication, and that it just makes it hard for them. And there are things that I cannot go into now, but I do know this because I've had many students, and some students they struggle to relate with other people, and not just and because of that they struggle to relate with their professor due to various things that have happened to them or experiences. Now, when it comes to academic dishonesty, that's plagiarism. You would notice that we have that on our topics for the week. Plagiarism is stealing somebody else's work, taking somebody else's work and crediting it as yours. in the age of AI, that's even more creative. You can even use chatbots. I'm not going to read to you all that I have here, but I'm going to emphasize this. Whatever decision you make, whatever choice you make with the technological tools you use in this class, you're ultimately responsible for it and the choices that you make with them and the consequences which will follow from those choices. I have a way of detecting when students use AI chatbots to cheat. Don't ask me how, but you just know your responsibility. If you find yourself struggling, reach out. You got peer coaches that you can approach. You got the tutors you can approach. I like to say this because when I'm going to review my let me look at the grading scale, because I use point system and there are a total of 1,000 points in the class. One thing you should note is that in the course syllabus, I have what you call course assessments, and I have tentative grading criteria. As right now, I'd say that this is the gradings. This is the points percentage, 1,000 points. The first points, the first orientation activities, this is pretty easy. Everybody should get a 30 for that. I mean, I'm just asking you to complete the syllabus quiz, in which you should get everything. You know, I'm more interested in you completing it than accuracy, but then you have to complete a statement of understanding. Then the other one that you want to pay attention to is the one that carries the most points. We've got 220 points for the final assignment projects. When I was in college, I look at my course syllabus and I'll use a highlighter to mark everything that it carries lots of points. So we've got discussion for board forum, that's 170. So you want to highlight that. So the ones that carry a lot of points. That's not to say that the other ones do not matter. It's just to say that you want to pay attention to the ones that can hurt your grade or even ruin your grade if you're not paying attention to assignment submissions. Assignment submissions, I do have a policy on that. For the first week, if you want to turn in work as PDF, I understand. It's going to take some getting used to. I understand that many of you coming from a background where like Google Workspace is all you use, or Classroom. Well, in college, it's more diverse. Google is not everything, and Google doesn't own college as it owns K-12. Google doesn't have a monopoly in my class, so I make sure that doesn't happen. So I use Microsoft Word, and I use it for a reason. And you want to know why? Why do I emphasize this? I emphasize this because I one of the primary reasons I use Microsoft, because I'm able to do many things on it that I cannot do with Google Doc. If you say, yeah, I could do a lot on Google Doc, I'd say the strongest argument you probably can give me is that you can do a lot of things offline, but then Microsoft Word has also improved. You have the online version as well. So I'm very attentive to what students' technological tools and preferences the student have. And I'm not going to make you download any software that's going to cost you money. Now, Word is available for free download on this website. Now, if you're having troubles navigating this website, on this link, I also have mentioned in the course syllabus how you can access. This is how you can find materials regarding Microsoft Office. So if you look at the assignment submission folder, I think that's where I have this information. Let's see. Assignments and projects. Okay, you will notice I have this information start here, how to download Microsoft Office 365. Now, I personally do not believe I need to create tutorials on how to download something when there are other tutorials out there that are even more visual, more engaging. So this is one from a former Microsoft. Now, he used to be a program manager. His name is Kevin Stravet, something like that. I think that's his name. So he leads you on how you can download Office for free. Also, if you want to know how I use Microsoft Word and why I use it, I recorded a tutorial, or should I say presentation, how I use all these tabs. And if you watch this, you would see that my Google Doc doesn't have a lot of the a lot of the features and tools that's Microsoft Word. There are many things, so many things I could do on it. And also with Microsoft PowerPoint presentation too, I have a tutorial on this. Just to guide you, I'm using it. Now, if you have any issues navigating all these apps, just let me know. But I'll give you a clue that I have done some research about this. So I'm always interested in students' thought. If you believe that Google is better than Word, sure, tell me. I'm willing to listen to your view. I'm open. Just let me know and what issues you're having. But as I say this, I also want to remind you that in the course syllabus, there are also there are expectations when you use devices. So make sure you read the technology section in this class, how you save your materials. In this course, I expect that you use more than a cell phone. I was telling my other students in the previous session that I once had a student who used an iPhone all the way to mid-semester. She was using it to turn in. I don't even know how she was doing it because it's so hard to even type on the phone. When I type on phones, I'm more likely to make lots of typos or grammatical errors when I'm using my phone to type because it's not very convenient. I don't even know how she was doing it, submitting work through an iPhone. And then she was submitting work on an iPhone and I couldn't even open some of the assignment because you know why? She was submitting most of this as Apple Pages. So please, as much as possible, you can use your phone to access your assignment discussion board. I don't encourage you to use your phone to be completing work. It's just not convenient. And it's take this more seriously. If you take college and writing more seriously, you want to use a computer device. Not that you can't do it on your laptop, on your phone. It's just that it's not very convenient. And you yourself know it's not the most convenient. It's just, you're probably just trying to save time. You don't want to open your laptop. And if you're struggling with purchasing a tech device, just know that we have a computer lab. You can go to the computer lab. You can get a laptop for about 300 or 250. And so it's not that expensive. I was telling the students, I was like, okay, I asked her, how much did you buy your iPhone? I said, and she told me, guess what? It was over 1,000. But she couldn't purchase a laptop, which is you could get for 250 or 300. Don't let me bore you with all these tales about my other classes and students. But this is the course textbook we're using. If you want to get a used edition, just be aware that you may run into conflicting pages with this textbook, and you'll be responsible for that. Because in the past, when I let students get textbooks and they say you get older version, they start to blame me when they come across conflicts with the reading in the class. They say, well, yeah, but I didn't tell you to get. I already told you that, yeah, you could get it, and you just have to skillfully navigate some of the old readings. And if you can do that, that's fine with me. I don't care. You could, because I want you guys to save money if you can. So we'll be using this course textbook. I have the picture there. So if you get the wrong thing, I'm going to ask you, how did you miss it? Did you not see the picture in the course syllabus? Because that's doing so much that the fact that I could even post a picture there. Okay, so there's no reason why you should get the wrong thing. If you get the wrong thing, do it with consequence, knowing that if you go read the wrong thing and therefore that leads you to responding to the wrong post, I'm not to blame for that. Okay, so for the first week, if you do not have the textbook, that's fine. Those of you who have particular concerns about the textbook, reach out to me. I have tons of resources. Okay. Okay, so I want you two guys to be knowledgeable about this. What other aspects? So this is a grading scale. There are 1,000 points in this class, and also I have extra credit opportunities. So if I were you, I was telling my other students that I once had an ESL student who was not the best writer. I would say he wasn't my best student in the class. When I say best student, like students who turn in strong essays. But he managed to get an A. And what saved him? He took advantage of some of the extra credit opportunities. And he was just doing it. And he was a hardworking student too. So I was surprised at it and said, wow, but he was very hardworking. So I offer some extra credit opportunities, and even starting from the first week. So take advantage of those. That way you can boost your grade. 2 points can go a long way to you getting a B or an A. So if you get anywhere from 900 to 1,000, that's an A. So if I have extra credit opportunities, I will tell you about it. And I'm telling you this week, there is going to be some extra credit. There is one extra credit opportunity. I think like 2 points. I think it's something. If you think 2 points is nothing, just ask the people who get like 899. I could give them should I just round it up? Well, you can't demand that I round it up because just to be nice, but can I do that? I'm not going to go into discussions about rounding up grades, but if you take advantage of extra grade opportunity, that puts you out of that dilemma where you have to you open for the professors to round up your grade so you can get an A or get a B. All right. So pay attention to that. Late work. Let me cover this. So like I've said, I state things clearly, but I'm also reasonable. There could be some reasonable exceptions. I said late work is not acceptable or it's not accepted. But then I said there is a reasonable exception to this policy. Now, if you are going to turn in work late, you should let me know in advance. Don't just wait till let's say the work is due like today, you reaching out to me like on Friday, say, oh, Professor, I turned in the late work on Monday. That was supposed to do on Friday. Why are you just reaching out to me? Let me know in advance. That way I give you the benefit of the doubt. Things can happen. People who have emergencies, and I'm aware of that. But you also be aware that I also have limited time. I have 12 hours in a day, 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week, and 365 days in a year. So I've got to manage my time wisely. I like to grade over the weekend, give students a week to work. So if you don't turn in work on time, when am I going to find time to grade your work? Are you going to get angry with me for not grading your work? Because I have limited time. So you've got to be considerate. You've got to reach out to me way in advance. I mean, don't wait till the work is, I'm usually very, I don't want to, I try to be, how do I put it? I want to be strategically evasive about how I would handle late work. But if students do not respond within the frame I've given them, I have to make decisions. And but my policy is clear. Reach out to me in advance. Don't do that, then I have to make decisions because it's not fair to the other students. Why should I give you the grade you want for a particular essay that you turn in so late when you have more time than others to work on it? Is that fair? That's where I'm coming from. So this is similar to absences. Like if you're terribly, God forbid, but if it happens that one of you are terribly sick, so sick that you can't even have access to the computer, that means I'm assuming you're probably admitted in the hospital. You should reach out. Maybe who knows, maybe I could come visit you. Maybe not, but still I would, let me know. That's something that I'm concerned about when students are not participating, but you have to communicate, okay? And remember my communications policy. The syllabus is quite detailed and there's a ton of information on COVID, resources for writing center, student support, academic advising, access and disability services, military and veteran students. There's a ton of options you have. Academic support center that includes student and so on and so forth. I'm not going to go over all those because we will run out of time, but pay attention to the course calendar that I have here. The save your dates for your calendar, especially these are key dates. So if you guys are finding the class too challenging, reach out to me. Again, I would say this, let me know. Don't wait till it's last minute when the semester is almost over. Then you're Professor, can we talk about my grade because I'm failing? Why did you wait to the last minute? I wish students reach out to me when they feel they're having issues. Don't wait to the last minute because I may not be able to do anything. All right. But I also recognize students have decisions to make, choices to make. I'll tell you one story before I move on to the course calendar. I respect students' decisions if they are going to drop a class because I can, sometimes that could be the best decision. I once had a student and he told me he wanted to be a cop, police officer, so a detective. And this student every day will come to class. This was an 8-week class. In an 8-week class, 8 weeks, 8 weeks. We're in week 4, week 5. He had not submitted any work in week 4, week 5. How is such a student going to pass the class? And I was begging him, say, turn in your work. When are you going to turn in your work? Then I asked him a question. I called him out of class, saying, what is important now? He said, I want to be a detective. Okay. I said, so that means this class is not a priority. He said, yes. And I said, I told him, make the decision that is right. You don't want to waste your time if you're not going to see through this class. And he shook my hands, and I didn't see him. He respected him, and he dropped the class. He didn't have his priorities straight. I don't know what he was doing in the class, because you can't be in an 8-week class and week 4 you've not turned in any work and expect to pass the class. There's nothing I can do. No amount of work I could do because I had already accommodated so much from him. Let me go over the course calendar. In looking at the course calendar, you will notice how it's laid out, how it's set up. I've got to the left the weeks, and then you've got topics and themes. In the middle, you've got to the right, you've got weekly assignments and readings. So right now we're in week 1, and every other week is pretty much organized the same way. So you want to look at everything here. Now, how you organize yourself, I actually shared with this student. Let me share a video with you guys. I've shared this with my other students too. But I think I will encourage you to watch this video if I don't get to, even if it doesn't show up. But the essence of it is that when it comes to time management, it's a time management hack. Everybody has a way of getting organized. According to this video, I'm not going to play it now because of time. CEOs, so people in management, get organized in various ways. And one way they do is that they have a yellow pad or yellow sheet, and they make a list of the things they're going to do. I've got a list right here, and trust me, I'm filling up. Sometimes I have ideas, I write it down. Now, is this the only thing I do in order to stay organized? No. I use a journal. I have it somewhere here. I use a journal, which I use it for, sometimes I write my ideas in that journal. I write my plans for the day in that journal. So you got to find a way to stay organized in order to do, not just for this class, but I'm going to make a bold statement in life. How do you live through the day? Do you just wake up and just like do whatever you see on your email? What if you're getting thousands of emails? So you've got to make a plan for yourself, how you stay organized if you don't have one. If you want to use your phone, go ahead, but I warn you, in using your phone, and I think you guys already know, it's a lot of distractions. You're getting all these notifications on your phone. So that's something you're going to have to navigate. But anyway, I prepared this course calendar so that you can navigate it easily. One trick I recommend, and I did this when I was in college, I'll have this printed out and I would just check the box when I'm done with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's it. Now, in having this information here, the weekly tasks and assignments, I would say that this is not don't treat this as conclusive, because I have more information in the course, let's say course material for week 1. These are mainly supplementary information to help you understand the reading for the week or the materials for the week. So I can even post more based on the research I'm doing to help you understand, let's say, the topic on rhetoric. For instance, we have one on social connections. And if you look at this document, I think I have a link there. The original research is even longer. It's from the US Surgeon General's office. Basically, to give you an idea, what the US Surgeon General's office found is that we're dealing with he called it an epidemic of loneliness in today's culture. What is causing this? There are many variables to explore, but technology has definitely impacted a lot, and there are other social changes as well. But one thing is sure, that social connection is desirable. If social connection can be cultivated in social media spaces in a positive manner, it's also desirable. But what we are finding today is that we're very connected digitally today, but it doesn't mean we're the most socially connected. When I say socially connected, like socially connected in the real sense of friendship. If you want to maintain a friendship, you just text the person every day. Some people may say yes. If you want to maintain a real friendship, you see the person, you walk out with them, you see them, you're there for them when they're crying or when they're, and you're having something. You don't just send text messages every day. And I had a funny joke. I will tell you guys if you guys are interested. There's a story goes of a woman who was always receiving mails from her husband, who was far away. And he for 2 years it was happening. All he was doing was sending letters, sending letters, sending letters, sending letters, sending letters. And guess what happened at the end of year 2? She married the mailman because she was always seeing the mailman every day. Anyway, that's a joke about communication and how you need to do more than just send a message to people. But anyway, social connection is important. And what I mean by social connection, I mean that physical connection. Like, you can do without it. There's tons of research on that. What else do I need to go over? Oh, the course shell on Blackboard. So if you notice, I've recorded tons of, I have in the announcement, you will see this, and I've not released it yet, but I have a review of week 1. And I try my best to keep this organized. In fact, when I noticed some mistakes on it early this morning, I sent an email around 4 a.m. because I didn't want you guys to be confused by the time you get access to this course. So if you notice, when you click on the learning modules, I've got something here that how you need to start. I need to move this up. Okay, so this is the first thing you need to do. I just describe how you need to start, and you need to go over to watch the course orientation. I recorded a video about navigating this shell. Hopefully you find that helpful. This recording will also be posted. Where is that information? Oh, I need to re-upload it. For some reason, it's not here. I know I have it downloaded, but I'll just post it after this meeting. Yeah, what else do I need to say? I guess at this point, I will stop presenting because we're almost out of time. Let's see if any of you have questions, comments, thoughts. Any questions, thoughts, comments? Don't be shy. From the EPIC coaches, any of you have questions? Maybe you think that students would find helpful? Carissa, Kenzie.
Hi, I have a question.
Elena.
So that's a question about the book. If I didn't buy it yet, until what day I need to buy it? Like when we're gonna use it?
Okay, so that's a good question. And I think to give you a clue, let me go back to the course calendar. So somebody asked a question about us having Zoom meetings. So that's a good question. My plan is not, so Elena, I'm going to get back to you, but then let me quickly answer this question about regular Zoom meetings. So that's not the plan. I don't intend to do that. So during the pandemic, when I was teaching, I would have like meetings when I was recording an assignment, and I'll only have 1 or 2 students show up. So in order for me to decide that, I've got to see that students are really passionate about it, because I'm not going to waste my time or waste your time if nobody's going to show up to the meeting, or if just 1 or 2 students are going to show up to the meeting. I could as well just review a video and just have you guys watch it. But if you need to meet with me to discuss, hopefully it's not regular, but it's just got to be specific. You can always reach out to me, and maybe if it's about, we just do a virtual meeting, we'll figure out what works. Now back to Elena's question. So that's a very interesting question, because, and let me share my screen again. Because I understand that students may take time to get the materials that I want them. I think in order to answer your question, we have to look at the course calendar. So pretty much in the area where I have, okay, so this is week 1. Now in week 2, September 25th to October, I have to tell you that I have this material in paper format. So if you don't get this material by this time, know that I have a backup copy, a PDF copy of this. So you'll be fine. But I want to say, you don't want to wait too long to get it, even though for the first 2 weeks you'll be fine. Because I want students to, but if you have any other questions about affordability, you let me know. But I would say don't wait too long. And also keep in mind what I said, that if you want to get a used one, free to get a used one. But just remember, if they are conflicting page numbers, don't blame it on me. Because I have students like they blame me for like if you get it wrong, don't blame it. Just know how you're going to navigate that, okay? And that's on you. But I let students, I give students a choice of you also can reach out to me if you are interested in a used version. I'm not saying for purchase, but I have an idea about how you can get access to the used version. But it'll be up to you on how you're going to navigate that. I'm not going to give it to students, because if I give it to students, they blame me and say that I'm the one who give them something that is conflicting. And I don't want to be held liable for that. I'm very careful about promising too much to students, especially when I'm trying to help them navigate some free resources. Hope that helps. Elena, still there?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your answer. Thank you.
I'm going to stop recording at this point, and then we just